p.m. maybe. So please wait for a few minutes.
Tambah secara pemerintah dan masyarakat desa Kulo.
Ini dia, dan ini dia Omi goyang alat.
Assalamualaikum, Profesor Ramli. Welcome.
Salam. Yes.
Professor Ramli, we are together with Professor Edi, our rector.
Oh, Pak Edi.
Assalamualaikum, Prof. Ramli.
Waalaikumsalam. Apa kabar, Pak?
Baik.
Oh, alhamdulillah baik. How are you?
Profesor Edi Yusuf.
Profesor Edi satu lagi nih dari UTM. Profesor Edi Tonizam. Bapak sama namanya Edi, Pak.
Ya, oh ya,
Profesor lagi.
ya, Pak Edi Yusuf ya. Apa kabar ya?
Itu ya. Prof. Edi.
Jadi Profesor Edi Tonizam ini sama Profesor Ramli, beliau ini ahli disaster, Pak. Jadi kalau ada bencana, panggil mereka, Pak, insya Allah. Aman semuanya.
Aman dunia ya.
As long not disaster. Do not create disaster.
No. They will make a mitigation, inshallah. Not create the disaster.
You see this call us very close. We are fast. We never do all this, right? Not never lah. We very rare have this kind of opportunity, this kind of seminar. I don't know. I hear me, Wahyono?
Yes, sir.
Sorry, Prof. Edi, your voice is lagging.
I see. I don't know. It's like the problem. Is it clear now?
Oh, yes, very clear, sir.
All right, thank you. So we have already 176 participants.
Okay.
Very good. Very good.
I think Pak Hadi, we can start,
Yes.
I believe.
Okay, I think we can start the seminar today. As we are to begin, there are about like 170 people are attended our seminar today. So I hope this number can still growing up because we have total registrant almost hit 600 forms, Prof. So yeah, we still can grow up the participants today. So yeah, let me read the rules for our event today. Yeah, this is our webinar rules. So number one is webinar will be start at 2:05 p.m. and participant will be muted during the presentation until the Q&A session. Rules number three, turn on your camera during the presentation in order to have more engagement in virtual communication. Number four, don't share screen during the seminar. And then number five, public participants' question will be addressed during the Q&A session or after presentation by speakers and discussion among panels. And also because our seminar can be reached live stream via YouTube. For those who watching via YouTube, you can type the question in the chatting section, and our crew will collect those questions and bring them out to the discussion. You may not ask personal question or non-subject related question during the event. If you want to ask or discuss during the Q&A session, please unmute your audio or type your question via the chat section in Zoom room. And the last and very important point is keep our manners and behavior in speaking and chatting during the seminar. So please, once again, maintain our personal and institution reputation to make our seminar today runs well and conducive. All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Hadi Wijaya. You can call me Hadi, and I am the one of lecturer in Jakarta Global University, or you can call it JGU. And yeah, I will be your host for our online seminar today. Okay. This is our agenda for today. So we have welcoming speech first from our rector of Jakarta Global University before the main event will be taken by moderator, Mr. Wahyono. So first of all, also I want to say welcome to our honorable rector of JGU, Jakarta Global University, Professor Dr. Edi Yusuf, APT. Our honorable management team, we have Vice Chancellor 1, Mr. Ades Gamayel, Vice Chancellor 2, Mrs. Risma Ekawati, and Vice Chancellor 3, Mr. Ade Sunardi, that already attend in our Zoom room today. And also welcome to our respected speakers, Dr. Oki Muraza and Dr. Safaa Najah Saud, and all panels who has given us time and opportunity to giving insight regarding to our discussion today. All right, today in this our international online seminar, we will discussing about the importance of petrochemical industry for energy security, presented and will be discussed by all experts from many industries. For your information, this webinar will be recorded. So yeah, just for your information, it can be watched again. That can be replay again in our YouTube link. So who still cannot follow our webinar, you can still watch our recorded video in our YouTube. So before we are going further, I would like to introduce our campus first, Jakarta Global University, or we can call it JGU. So we are located in Jakarta, Indonesia. We have 3 campus locations. Campus A in Jatiwaringin, Bekasi, Campus B in Cibitung, Bekasi, and Campus C as our main campus will be in Depok, and that inshallah will operate in September 2020. Our first semester in our new campus building. Now, JGU has 12 programs that concentrating on 3 faculties, engineering and computer science, economy, and pharmacy. So if you want to know more about our campus, you can open our social media apps. You can open your social media apps, especially for Instagram. We have JG_University and our website, www.jgu.ac.id. Okay, we can move on to our next session. Now we would like to invite our rector of Jakarta Global University, Professor Dr. Edi Yusuf, to give a welcoming speech. So please, Prof, this is your time.
Thank you, Mr.
Sekali ini tembung.
Pernah tembung tapi tidak di minyak doang, enggak kami iso hilang iki sekomplasi yang tekan sampai
the participant. Thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum.
Apa kok?
ada
Itu kan makanya di atas apa yang di atas?
to the can you mute mute the speaker? Okay, so again, my respected the Deputy Rector, Senior Management Team of member of JGU, distinguished speakers, audience, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to extend my warm welcome to everyone to the International Online Seminar, which is titled The Importance of the Petrochemical Industry for Energy Security. This program is part of the international seminar series that conducted by Jakarta Global University, JGU, in conjunction with 49 years establishment of our institution. It sounds very old. It's older than my age. Okay. This is also in conjunction of upgrading of our status, of our institution status, become full-fledged university on 10 July 2020. I'm proud to know that this seminar is participated by speakers from various countries and also represent academician, researcher, as well as people from industry. So now we have a speaker from Malaysia. We have from Management and Science University, Dr. Safaa. We have Prof. Ramli and Prof. Eddie from UTM. And we also have industrial players from Saudi, Dr. Oki, as well as the from India. Difficult to pronounce his name. I think something like Sonsak, if I'm mistaken. Okay, and we also very proud that we have industrial players from local. We have people expertise from Wijaya Karya as well as the Inti Karya Persada. So I would like to take this opportunity to to welcome, also to thanks to the speakers. Thank you so much for your support to our institution. Okay, this seminar is part of the collaborative initiative that shall we stop first? Okay, this initiative should definitely benefit to the industries and also as to the university. So we want industrial collaborative actually in JGU become a way of life here, and this kind of activities is really welcoming. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this time I also like to take opportunity to give a short brief of our campus, because I believe that some of you maybe just know about this JGU. I think many of you, in fact, because the name of JGU is established only a few days back, it's last week. Okay, but actually our institution is a very old institution. We established in year of 1972. So it is about my year of born. At the time, the name of our institution is we call it as a STTJ, which is like a College of Engineering. And our institution is considered as a first private institution to run the engineering at the time. So most of the founder, they actually come from ITB. Okay, then after long journey to ups and down situation in Indonesia, last year in 2019, actually STTJ converted, upgrading to become it's like a university college. They call it Institute Teknologi and Health of Jakarta. So that time we extend our area actually from engineering, from IT and engineering to another area, which is because the health. So we have the pharmacy at the time. Okay, then as appreciation of this institution now is run by the foundation. We call it as a Yayasan MSU Global. And as appreciation of its effort and also development, then this year in 2020, the ITKJ, again upgrading by the Ministry of Education, become a full-flag university. Then we call it as a JGU, Jakarta Global University. So if you visit website, maybe it is still under construction because we just get this certificate. But the spirit actually is it is the old institution actually. So we have many our alumni work in many places, including some. Then I think I don't want to talk too long about you. Later you can explore our our website, and also some industries of other university would like to collaborate with us is welcome. Okay, topics today is quite interesting. I think it's very relevant with the current situation. Energy security is the association between the national security and the availability of natural resources for energy consumption. Access to cheap energy has become essential to the functioning of the modern economies. In the context of energy security, security of energy supply is an issue, of utmost importance, I think. I'm not in from this area, but I understand that security energy is very important. So I hope that wide range of this issue related to energy security will be discussed in this seminar. Again, okay, I don't want to spend too much time. I think most of the participants really want to listen to the topics from various speakers that we have today. So finally, I think let me close this remark by once again extending my highest appreciation to the organizing committee, which is led by Mr. Wahyono, then also to all members of committee, yeah, to the Mr. Hadi as a MC today. Congratulations for your good achievement. I noticed this is the second webinar seminar. Then I can see that we have a lot of participants from 2 seminars that we conducted within these 2 months, the international seminar. We managed to have more than 500 participants. In fact, our first seminar, I understand that participant is more than 1,000. So at the time we have to close the registration. Then some of the participants have to join to our YouTube. So again, congratulations and thank you so much for your hard work to Pak Wahyono, to Hadi and team, and also thank you so much to the speakers, to all the speakers, to everybody who involved in this program. I think that's all from me. Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Prof, for the humble welcoming speech. As we can see on the screen, we have like 268 participants. So our hopes come true. So welcome to participants who already attend our seminar today. Okay. Maybe this time to turn the time over to Mr. Wahyono, our moderator for today. But before that, let me introduce Mr. Wahyono profile first. So please, Mr. Ande, you can show the profile of Mr. Wahyono. Okay, Mr. Wahyono is a lecturer in civil engineering at Jakarta Global University. He completed his bachelor's and master's degree from Bandung Institute of Teknologi. And now Mr. Wahyono is currently undergoing a PhD doctoral degree at Universiti Teknologi Malaysia, UTM. Mr. Wahyono has 30 years experience in civil and structural engineering execution in oil and gas project, and then has served as deputy manager with 9 years experiences overseas in Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Had also worked as a principal engineering, experience in the use of analysis and design software, STAAD in the structural design, and Plexis in soil mechanics design. Experience in model review management system, 3D modeling in the structural design and civil design, and many other experience that I cannot mention here in the civil field. And I think without waiting any longer, so please, Mr. Wahyono, you can take the event.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Hadi, for the introduce myself. So, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for your time in this webinar. Thank you, Professor Oki, for your time as well, for your effort to share your knowledge to us. And also, Dr. Safaa, welcome to our webinar. And also all panelists, Mr. Turiba, Ibu Ella, Dr. Mai, also Mr. Safang, and Professor Ramli, and Professor Edi. I would like to introduce Professor Oki. He is the graduate from ITB and continue the higher education in Delft until doctor. And now he is a lecturer, senior lecturer in Saudi Arabia at KFUPM. Somebody said that KFUPM is like MIT, copy and paste, no matter about the money. This is a Saudi matter. I believe Saudi is very rich. They didn't have any difficulty. Mr. Oki as our presenter today, so that we will understand that how is what they call our piano, and is having trouble because cannot spend his holiday in Indonesia, locking down in for us, so that we have our webinar agenda. So that is my introduction to Mr. Oki. I think we can continue to Mr. Oki. His presentation will be strategic roles of petrochemical portfolio for national oil companies. As we know that we have disaster as well for oil price, similar to COVID-19. We are in the very difficult situation, so that our President, Mr. Jokowi, also have a very excellent move of action to move to the biodiesel. My project, the last project, is biodiesel in Kalimantan. So this is very good, optional for anticipate the situation right now. Mr. Oki, I think we have to come to you. The time will be authorized by you now. Mr. Oki.
Ya, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much, Pak Wahyono. Pak Wahyono, I would like to get permission to share my slides because I reduced most of my slides.
Okay.
So now, in order to meet the 30 minutes, now I have shorter slides. Can I share my screen?
Please, you have to go to share screen, and you can do by yourself.
Yes,
go to
yes.
down. You have a green one, share screen in the bottom. You got it?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. Good. Okay.
So now can you see my screen?
Yeah, your screen is very clear. I can see it. Can you continue?
Yes. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for the organizer, Pak Wahyono and team. I would like to greet also the rector of Jakarta Global University and the past rectors and other teams in JGU. And then I would like to greet also the panelists, the 6 panelists, which will be involved in our discussion today. So, inshallah, in the next half an hour, I would like to give a short talk about the strategic roles of petrochemicals for national oil company and also for the nation. This is short introduction about myself. Basically, I graduated from Bandung, and then I went for an offshore job, and then I got scholarship from Netherlands for my master and PhD. And then since 2010, I'm working in Saudi Arabia. I'm working for King Fahd University. In addition to my activity, I'm also working on projects, developing projects for Saudi Aramco. Alhamdulillah, we have very good productivity in terms of publications and also US patents. And as I'm still having 2 months vacation, 2-3 month vacation every year, I also spend some time to write popular articles for Indonesian newspaper. As we can see from the program from the government, petrochemical industry is very important. You can see the petrochemicals is included in the 8 economic transformations, including the PPI to produce fuel and chemicals. And overall, we can see that petrochemical is basically a weak link in the economic chains in Indonesia because we have very large imports. It's about 300 trillion imports every year. So this is the outline for my presentation. So I would like to start with the technological disruptions in petrochemical business. And then I will highlight the importance of the feedstock, and then also the importance of having integrated business. As you can see from this outlook, basically the liquid fuel is still dominating until mid-2030, even though, of course, in developed countries, OECD, the liquid fuel will be declining because of the electric vehicles and hydrogen fuels. But in Indonesia, as part of non-OECD, the demand for liquid fuel is very high. And mostly the crude oil will be allocated not only for fuels, but also for chemicals. As you can see here, after 10 years, the growth of chemicals will be the highest one. So because of this, there's a shift, not only paradigm shift, but also the business shift from national oil company to integrated chemical company. You can see the move of Saudi Aramco. And also here in this article, I wrote the importance of downstream business for national oil company in Indonesia. The shift is not only in Indonesia, of course. You can see the big project in Saudi Arabia, the crude to chemicals. and also in other countries, including in Kuwait, UAE, etc. The growth basically depend on the feedstock that we have. I would like to get help from the organizer. Maybe we can manage these things because someone is writing on the screen. So the petrochemical industry is basically they are using different materials. In Indonesia, mostly the petrochemicals is coming from naphtha, while in US, for instance, they are using mostly C1 or methane from natural gas. So basically, we can consider to have 7 feedstock in petrochemical business, starting from synthetic gas, olefins, 3 olefins, and aromatics, benzene, toluene, and xylene. Of course, as end users, we will not meet these chemicals every day, but we meet the end products. This is the end products that we have. Packaging in constructions, the tire, the electronics that we have, gadgets, etc. Including our textile is from petrochemicals. This is very established and proven technologies, but of course, due to the different feedstock that we have, we still expect to have the innovations. Like for instance, in US now, they are doing a lot of research about the shale gas that they have. And of course, in Indonesia, due to our resources in coal and natural gas, we should also put some effort to have innovation in coal and natural gas to petrochemicals. Basically, we start with cheap raw materials such as natural gas, crude oil, and coal, and then we will end up with these all end products, yeah? Plastics, resins, fibers, elastomers, solvents, surfactants, coatings, etc. Due to the nature of the attendance today from different fields, I'm not going to dig deeper into the scheme because this is mostly for chemical engineers. And then here, with the large population, basically, of course, we have very large demand in polyesters. Yeah. This polyesters is basically the downstream of the aromatics, and then one of the most important aromatics is paraxylene. So we can expect to have more demand from polyesters in Indonesia. And then this PET also very important in Indonesia because we consume it a lot in our daily life as a resins, etc., plasticizers. Nowadays, due to the pandemic, of course, the demand is lower, but petrochemicals are still demanding because we still have food packaging, we still need to have clothing, and of course, the medical accessories for COVID-19. Now, from Indonesian perspective, we need to find a way how can we cope with the growth that we have. Here we can see the growth that we have, and then how can we reduce the import because year by year, of course, the import will be higher, and the import will affect our balance, the neraca perdagangan balance. Now I'm going to highlight some of the technological disruptions. We also call it as a game changer in petrochemical business. The configuration is very important. As you can see here, that the refinery supposed to produce only gasoline, but in the future, due to the electric vehicles, we may have lower demand on gasoline. So we need to have petrochemicals based on FCC. So this FCC is very strategic unit which can produce both gasoline and also olefins, which is one of the most important feedstock for petrochemicals. And basically, we can engineer the unit operation or the configurations in such a way that we will have the selectivity towards the products that we want. So we will move from oil company plus refinery into integrated one, which is oil company together with refinery and together with petrochemicals. There are many examples. For instance, Hengli Petrochemicals in China, which produce these amounts of chemicals per year, etc. And then the second issue is about the mastering the methane conversion. As you can see in US now, the largest feedstock is methane. And also in Indonesia, if we see the outlook, we have more gas than oil nowadays. Due to the time, I'm not going to discuss about the CO2 utilizations. So this is the conversions from natural gas, C2, to olefins. If we have C2, it will go to steam cracker. But for the lean natural gas, like the one that we have in Masela, for instance, which is rich in methane, for instance, we can have first steam reforming to produce syngas, and then from syngas we can produce to other chemicals. Mostly the olefins are produced in Asia Pacific from naphtha. These are the business that we have in Asia Pacific based on mostly naphtha, steam cracker. In Indonesia, we have limited players, so there is a chance to increase the capacity, be it from state oil companies or from the private companies. And of course, the key is the integrations, because as you may heard that the refining business is having lower margin, and basically we need to have integrated one in such a way that we can have margin which is acceptable. Recently, Saudi Aramco purchased 70% of stake in SABIC, which make Saudi Aramco now as one of the largest petrochemical company. The interesting thing for the petrochemicals is basically the chemicals that we produce also can be utilized in fuel production. For instance, this methanol is used in biodiesel program, which was mentioned by Mr. Wahyono. This is the mandatory biodiesel project that we have. And of course, we also need a good amount of methanol for this project. We are going to have B30, etc. So methanol is very strategic petrochemicals for Indonesia. We quickly highlight the cost in petrochemical industry. Just like in other business, we have capital and operational costs. Operational consists of variable and fixed. So if we want to have sustainable industry, we need to consider this cost. This basically the typical capital expenditure. I'm not going to go into details, but the petrochemical business is very dynamic, so depend on the price of crude oil and also petrochemical natural gas. The challenge for Indonesia is basically the limited hydrocarbon resources that we have. Yeah, the feedstock. What is the feedstock for petrochemicals? Of course, Indonesia also has a problem with LPG because now we are almost having between 70 to 80% import for LPG for cooking. We have shortage in liquid fuels, the gasoline that we have. 50% is coming from the motorcycle, and we have huge energy demand because we are 260 million populations. And of course, how can we utilize the strengths that we have, like palm oil, into fuels and chemicals? And for feedstock, we have seen that the natural gas price nowadays is very low. So most probably big projects in natural gas will be abandoned. This is a challenge, but at the same time, this is opportunity for us. We can allocate this for petrochemical business in Indonesia. But of course, this require very structured organizations in order to monetize this natural gas into petrochemicals. Feedstock is very important. As you can see here, we have 3 different feedstock with different yields. There is a pro and contra. Natural gas is the most favorite one nowadays because the world is going to clean and green technologies. But of course, in Indonesia, we should not abandon coal because this is what we have. Crude oil, we have very limited. So we need to choose the feed according to our resources. The profit margin is really depend on the feedstock. As you can see, the methane price in Saudi Arabia is very low, $1.25 per million BTU. So you can expect the polyethylene price is this much. So this business is good in terms of profitability. Raw materials is very important. In Saudi Arabia, they have benefits because of the cheap natural gas price. And of course, the naphtha cracker can also be beneficial, especially nowadays, the crude oil price is lower. This is now around $35 per barrel. So you can see that this value will be half. So depend on the raw materials cost. In terms of product, of course, there will be difference. If we have naphtha, like the one that we have in Chandra Asri, we will have more products, different types of products. But when we have C2 as a feedstock, we have limited products. And the cost for coal to chemicals, of course, will be higher. This, as you can see, the dark yellow is from the coal conversions. Of course, the coal is still higher, but at this moment, due to the availability of the coal in Indonesia, we have no other options. So we need to utilize the coal to convert it to chemicals. The good news that we heard from Pertamina and Bakri, Pertamina is building about 2 plants, and then Bakri is also having coal to chemicals. In terms of life cycle in Indonesia, basically we are still growing market. So there is a chance to generate cash, etc. We are not a saturated society or even decline the one in Japan, for instance. So we have a good chance to develop our petrochemical business. In summary, petrochemicals is very important for Indonesia, especially if we want to manage the cash flow, because nowadays we import a lot of petrochemicals from abroad, which is not good for our cash flow, APBN. And then we can utilize our natural gas and coal. So nowadays the good things is the price of natural gas is very low. So we may afraid that the many projects will be suspended in terms of value. So we can utilize this natural gas and also our coal for local demand in Indonesia. Of course, the coal will require the gasification steps. This basically why the cost of coal to chemicals will be higher. But with some incentive, we can manage to have coal to chemicals like the one in China or the one in South Africa. We can see the petrochemical industry is having multiplier effects. We create jobs. This is job creation, not only for petrochemicals, but also we are making the oil and gas sectors stronger, because basically we are using the oil and gas as a feedstock. And then we have stronger energy security, because basically once we have methanol and hydrogens, these methanol and hydrogens are basically used again for renewables. So the methanol is used for biodiesel and hydrogen is used for D100, the one which was just viral 2 days ago from Pertamina. And then the last one, of course, it's very important to reduce our import. Thanks a lot, and I would like to return to Pak Wahyono as the moderator.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Oki, for the presentation. The very useful presentation. Before moving further, I would like to ask to you, this presentation is confidential or we can share to our attendants?
No, it's not confidential. So it's
okay. Thank you, thank you. So your question, your statement is make me happy. Okay. Next, I would like to introduce our Dr. Safaa. Dr. Safaa is the coordinator program of Faculty of Information Science and Engineering from MSU. And Dr. Safaa has a long relationship with our rector. This is his CV. Okay. He's PhD in Mechanical Biomaterial Engineering, and he will make a presentation together with Professor Oki within several minutes, so that we will get the complete view for the petrochemical industry. Dr. Safaa, the time for you, sir.
All right then. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and a very good afternoon for everyone who has been attending the webinar. I would love at the early beginnings, I would love to thank Jakarta Global Universities, headed by Prof. Ede, for the given opportunities, and I would love to thank the organizer as well for joining us for today as well. And I would love to thank Dr. Okayo that he is joining us from Saudi Arabia, and would love to congratulate him for the nice presentations. I really enjoyed it a lot. We might have a lot of collaboration in minds indeed. Besides that, I would love to thank also the panelists for joining us at the current moments, and all the audience as well. Thanks for everyone for being here today with us. So today I might a little bit shift the trends of presentations toward technology indeed. So just if possible, the moderator can allow me to share my slide presentation, please.
You have the rights for that, Dr. Safaa.
All right.
Just going to the bottom.
Oh yeah, boleh.
You will see the green one. Yes.
Oh sure, got it.
Okay, good. We see very clear your presentation.
Okay. All right, perfect. So today, indeed, I would love to talk about our specialist area of monitoring system using IoT. So today I want to talk about the real-time monitoring of oil well-based system by using Internet of Things integrations. So it is me, Dr. Safaa. I'm coming from Faculty of Information Science Engineering, and currently I'm the program manager for Master of Engineering and PhD of Engineering as well at the University at the Management and Science University. So without further ado, I would love to go through my presentation if you do the limited times. So my presentation, of course, starting with defining up my teams, because without my team, I cannot walk alone. My teams is headed with our respective deans, Associate Professor Mohamad Irshad, which is a specialist in robotics and intelligent systems and software engineering. And beside that, my dear colleague, Dr. Hosniza, she's also a specialist in artificial intelligences, then followed by Dr. Lili. Dr. Lili, she's a specialist in operational research, and Puan Noor Fazlina, she's a specialist in IoT and electronics. The members of these groups are they are the teams of whatever achievement we have done so far regarding to the monitoring system of oil health base. So it is me, it's Dr. Safaa, which I'm a bit currently a specialist in control systems and specifically in sensor and IoT. I've been holding the postdoctorate in biomechanical engineering 2015 from Universiti Teknologi Malaysia, and a PhD in mechanical engineering 2014 also from University Teknologi Malaysia, and a Master of Technology from Central University of Hyderabad, India. So regarding to the monitoring system, or regarding to the IoT, let me just define briefly what is IoT, what is industrial Internet of Things. And this industrial Internet of Things is being used for many sensor or actuators to enhance the manufacturing and the industrial process, which is also known as industrial Internet or Industry 4.0. It's in abbreviation, we call it as a IIoT, which is a leverage of the power of smart machines and the real-time analytics, which with the advantage of data, that is to collect the data, and beside that, give the data to be stored in the cloud. And that cloud is very easy for us to recover, to recall, and do the analytical, as we can see from the slide presentation, sir. Any kind of machines, any kinds of things, when it is working in a traditional way, it's a normal traditionally, but when we are, which we call it based on control system, we call it's working in open loop system. With open loop system, it can easily functions. While it's functioning, it doesn't have any feedback. With the implementations of the sensor, we can easily convert the systems from open loop into closed loop. So it can easily for us give us the feedback about the operational and the operational times, and give us the feedback on if there is any issue. And that, of course, all these data being recorded during the process and the performance is going to be recorded and will be saved in something we call it industry as a data center. We call that industry center as a cloud. Okay, based on while the data is being saved in the cloud, it can easily for us to do the analytical. So the analysis process, it can be also using artificial intelligence. And while the process of converting the traditional process into a smart and intelligent systems, we must provide a very important configuration to make sure that there is a connectivity through the internet. And beside that, it's providing a cybersecurity to secure all the information, because all these industries are dealing up with making your system smart. It means you are dealing with online clouding. So all your information and private information will be might be hacked or something. So it must much more important for you to provide a cybersecurity as well. So regarding to the oil and gas, how does it trend to be digital trending? So the implementation of oil, gas, and with the implementations of different era technologies, starting with big data to IoT to mobile device, cloud, robotics and drone, artificial intelligence, wearable devices, and technology, and collaborations also with the social tools. It's being divided into two groups now. One group can be considered as a top area that's being focused for the next almost Actually, this is statistical from the last year. It can be covered from up to the next 3 or 5 years, which is being classified under big data and IoT and mobile devices. And besides that, the second part of this era technologies is classified as a fastest area to be in growth, which is considered to be robotics and drone, artificial intelligence, and wearable technologies. So to consider that oil and gas to be transformed into digital transformation, they must also take into their consideration 6 main points, which they must be also being like to unlock the full potential digital transformation. The oil and gas industry, they must tackle the series historical and structural inhibitor. What are these inhibitor indeed? First of all is the outdated regulatory frameworks and lack of standardization and lack of ecosystem collaborations and cybersecurity, culture and mindset and talent is gap. So if we look into the IoT trends nowadays, the IoTs right now, this is the graph in front of us here. It's been recorded since 2015. We can see that the IoT does climbing up too much fast, and the implementation is everywhere. Okay, the implementation is very well. Why? Because it's because of the demand or the requirement. It's quite essential to be implemented. That's why we can see here the IoT platforms. This is based on 2017, while right now the last record 2015. I can find that based on the last record 2000 IoT platform, it's already been reached to the tip mountains or tip peaks of the recorded that allocated under the peak inflated expectations of the record of the expectation to be recorded. So regarding to the oil and gas industries, it's already been scattered into 3 main areas, which either to be upstreams or midstreams and downstreams. So regarding to the upstreams, why we have to know all these categories? Because the implementation of IoT, it will depends on the expectation that it's coming from each and every category. So if we look into the category as example of the upstreams, which is already been allocated in the offshore, so is the expectation is for exploring or the productions or the funds of the exploring new hydrocarbons, just now being explained by Dr. Oki, and discover the field also developed and petroleum produce. While the second category, which is the transportation or the delivery, which it can be focused on, we call it as a midstreams, and which is going to be conform the connectivity or the transferring from the offshore until the midstream, which is the refinery process. Why we must know all these categories? Because based on this category, we can simplify or we can select what kind of IoT technology we want to be implement. As example, I will give you, for instance, in the next few slides, I will show you as example, what are the main problem or the brief general problem they been figured out in this kind of streams and how IoT has been solved. As example, if I look into right now for the IoT applications in oil and gas based on the upstreams, the problem that being found in the upstream that as example that it costs a loss of millions of or billions of dollars every year, which we call it as a non-productive time, which we call it as a NPT. And beside that, a loss of accidents that it's happening in the upstreams, which can cause a loss of deadly accidents, and the process is focused or considered to be and not non-optimized or not optimized. So how the IoT being solved these issues? With the IoT, first of all, it's help with the IoT to build a refiner can be a plan. First of all, is the down or the shutdowns and minimize their downtimes and improve the safety record. And besides that, what is leading an opposite, it's lead to the accident can be prevented and the process can be optimized. So how all this kind of things been optimized, or how this IoT has been deal with this process? It's all deal with this process is based on just now when I said the upstreams, which is the explorings on productions. So it's based on the explorings is by building a correct scenario and a plan, and by decision support, and also by a multi-resources optimization, and by also implementing very important things we call a real-world plan. Real-world plan that is going to be provided 3 types of plan. One of them is called short terms, and the second one we call it other short terms and mid terms and long terms. Okay, so these are going to be classified our work and a plan in oil and gas, so to be avoided all the issues that could occur in the upstream sector. Looking into right now the midstream, and the midstreams has a challenge task of transporting the variables. This is the problems. So the variable and grade the products. The most important thing just now, what Dr. Okoyo was talking regarding to the grade and regarding to the material and regarding to the refinery material that it's being generated from the oil and gas. So the grading of these oil products is kind of issue. So this kind of issue can cause for us a loss of things, many problems as well. So from a multiple location to a new end user and to the market. Besides that, the other issue is that connecting the pipeline, because the midstreams is we call it as a circle to be connected between the upstreams and the downstreams. So connecting the pipeline networking and sensors, leakage detections, alarms, emergency shutdown to be interacted as synchronously. So the solution that being provided by the IoT indeed is providing to be available for all the analysis and interpretations in the real time. This is the main part of the implementation of IoT. It's giving you the reading and the analysis in the real time. There is no kind of delay. There is no kind of lagging of the information. All your information will be stored and will be delivered to you through the IoT. So it's what happened for it. It's first of all, it's reduce some of the major risk of the sector of the industry that dealing with. Okay, so the dealing with the midstreams, how it happened due to the planning that it happened with the by using the IoT, because it's providing us kind of simulation, scenario planning, and also providing us all the planning horizons. Just the one I've been mentioned, that 3 types of plan: long term, mid terms, and a short term as well. So if we look into the third and the last part of the downstream, the downstreams, the figured out issues is the handling of various grades of crude oil and changing the environment regulations are pushing across the refining margins down to the bare minimum. So the IT solutions, when came and proposed the answer for it, it came by the refinery can be planned their shutdown and minimize their downtimes and improve the safety record as well. So all these kind of things can also be solved through the IoT system, So if we look into the IoT implementation in the IoT implementations, there are many implementations. We should not stop at only one sector, or we should not stop at only one point. That's why I've been classified here, each and every implementation. When I want to say IoT, where does implemented in the upstream? And the upstream can be used as assist the tracking, and also can be used for the vehicle monitoring, can be used for remote video, machine monitoring, site monitoring, wellhead monitorings, security and access sensor, and lone worker tracking, and rig monitorings and tank monitoring. While if I shift into the midstreams, the midstreams also have a list of implementation can be implemented the IoT. Sorry, I cannot go through all of it because of the limited time. So also the downstreams, also they have their own implementation for the IoT to be implemented, and each and every part of this one can be taken as a part of further study. It needs a lot of study. Each and every point from this implementation, a lot of research already being carried out on it. A lot of things it's already been taken into a part to be discussed, to be investigated by the researcher and scientists. So currently is that me and my teams, we are working on settling all the highlighted areas. Example, we are working on the remote video by implementing the remote video or IoT as a remote video. And we are also working on wellhead monitoring systems and security as well, and pipeline monitoring, wellhead monitorings, and tank monitorings. And we are working on the mobile assist tracking and production sensor. So all this highlighted area, currently we are working on it, me and my teams, by solving and implementing the IoT to be proposed for oil and gas and other related industries as well. So these are some of the projects that we are working on it. We are working, as example, for the cleaning the pipes is for the midstreams, for cleaning the pipes that it's connecting the upstreams to the downstreams by using a robot. So the upstream cleaning process can be carried out by the robot, and we have different functionality of the robot. all the kind of robot is already being connected through a microprocessor or microcontroller. Okay, and this implementation of this microcontroller and microprocessor, it being varied based on the requirement you want to do it. Okay, so on the other sides here, on the right side, on my right side, we have been also designed a small or mini prototypes can give you or investigate for you all the prochemical of the gas and petroleum, can be connected for all the tanks, can monitor the tank of the petroleum, so can give you all the live readings of the temperature, the pressure, and beside that can do the analysis for all the chemical, because the petrol, while you save it inside the tank, is reacting with the sunlight exposuring. So there is a loss of type of gases. So sometimes it leads to explosion. So when we came with this kind of project, or when we came with this kind of prototypes, is that to solve an issue that does really occur or does really exist. Beside that, also we are working currently on manufacturing. We call it electrical valve. Electrical valve is completely controlled by microprocessor. Okay, controlled by microprocessor. So let me just show you as example. Beside that, the common threat actually in the offshore well performance, it can be focused on the well integrity, communications, and maintaining secondary recovery, changing the productions as well, environmental and health and safety. So this, as example, the project is already been published in IEEE recently. So that is the intelligent monitoring system for the oil and well efficiency. What can do for you? It can for the oil and gas is very simple. Is a kind of foldable device. Is only just being connected to the oil or any kind of petroleum tank. It can give you instant readings, and that reading you can receive it on your computer or through your mobile applications. Besides that, if the user are still not aware, we've been implemented something we call it as a call. Means the device will call you. That means your tank is in danger. So please be aware. So you can either inform your workers or you can solve up the issues by yourself, sending you a message and giving you a call, giving you instant readings by using IoT and using a microprocessor, by using a different multi-types of sensor. So I think I have to stop here. I've been shrinkage a lot of information indeed from my slide presentation. I could share it with you, but if you are interested with any kind of the topics, this is my contact information. You can contact me anytime, and you can find me also on the list of social pages and research pages as well. If you are interested in any of my topics, you are most welcome to collaborate. You are most welcome to contact me anytime. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Safaa.
Okay, thank you so much, Monto.
Very wonderful presentation.
Oh, sorry, actually, I was in a rush because of the limited time that you give me.
Sorry to make you rush, okay. But anyhow, your presentation is make me thinking that this is good for disaster as well. I mean, we have experience in Palu together with Professor Ramli. So
I see.
we have difficulty to bring the advice, and then looks your presentation is very useful to our application in the future.
Oh yeah, you're most welcome. We are most welcome.
So that we would like to ask Professor Ramli, and after that Professor Eddie, as the expert of disaster, to say make opinion for the both presentation, or have another idea how to say utilize this presentation to your area. Could you please, Professor Ramli, this time is for you. Professor Ramli, are you still in the room? Or?
Yeah. Sorry. I mute the
Oh, okay. Yeah. Everyone, we have to understand in Malaysia, heavy rain, so that there is a little bit trouble for the internet. Go ahead, Professor Ramli.
internet is quite and me.
Sorry,
Hello.
Professor Ramli, your voice not so clear. Could you please share your question by share screen in your bottom? There is one green button. You can click it and then share or.
Oh no, I don't have
Okay.
any screen.
Your voice
question.
now become clear. Okay, please.
Okay,
Good.
okay. Now,
Okay, good.
I just like to ask one question regarding. Now, I've been involved with Palu earthquake recently, about ago. The production is invented or has been used has a device that can detect disasters before, especially at the petroleum upstream industry, before anything could happen that will damage all the equipment in upstream. Can you hear about?
Sorry, Prof. Ramli. I think your voice is lagging. I cannot understand your question. I'm really apologizing for that.
Okay. Okay, I will summarize. Professor Ramli question. Professor Ramli has together with me experience in Palu. So as he explained that there is we call here a SDM project in Palu, damage due to the liquefaction, and all the equipment gone already. So in this regard, could you, Professor Dr. Safaa, make say advice in this situation? I mean, in the disaster itself, how to investigate by your expertise? Means that, as I said, the practical or portable equipment and also all the device, how to say recovery the damage and how to recovery their production after disaster. You get the point, Mr.
Actually, let me elaborate it. Let me elaborate it, sir, because maybe for my humble understanding is there. I understood that there is a disaster and that disaster can cause a loss of issues. So how you asked me regarding to the implementation of IoT, if any possibility to control or hand over the things before is breaking downs, okay?
Exactly.
Of course, IoT is always implementation of IoT is a kind of a prediction tools before the fracture or before the failure. So it's a kind of alerting, early alerting, can easily communicate. As example, if you are working with a disaster right now, if we look into Japan as example, Japan are recently implementing the IoT to predict the earthquake before it does happen. So it's informing the people, informing everyone there, please evacuate this area or please go to the safer place. So why? Because the IoT is working with sensor. So everything does generate for me either force or generate for me any kind of loadings, any kind of vibrations, or because we have multi functionality of sensor can easily work and communicate with us as a human through our phone, through our computer, through alertings by buzzer, light, and so on and so forth. So all can be predicted before happening to the failure. That's what exactly I can answer, Prof. Ramli, even I can gather all the information.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for the excellent answer from Dr. Safaa.
You're most welcome.
Later on, we will move to Professor Eddie. Professor Eddie, do you have any opinion or any perspective from your field as expert or director of Geotropic?
Thank you very much, Wahyono. Thank you very much also to Dr. Oki and Dr. Safaa for sharing very interesting presentation and your insight thought. I'm interested in looking in the aspect of energy security. As we all know that the petroleum reserve is limited and it will somehow will be depleted in the near future. There's some steps that have been taken by the various countries, Malaysia, I assume Indonesia as well, has taken steps in order to face this challenge in the very, very near future. In terms of ASEAN also, they have come with plan. For example, like the ASEAN power grid. This is for the electricity. There is like open market for electricity for the ASEAN countries. In addition, there's also trans-ASEAN gas pipelines that's also have been resumed, and the purpose of it is in terms of sharing the supply and the demand for the various ASEAN countries. May I ask, Dr. Oki or Dr. I assume Dr. Oki is the person that have been involved in the petrochemical industry for quite some time. So, what is your opinion of the success rate or the usefulness of this kind of sharing and cooperation? And if there's any policy related from some countries, Malaysia, Indonesia, or the ASEAN as a whole, that should be adopted. Thank you.
Okay. So, Pak Professor Eddie would like to engage with Professor Oki. Could you please, Professor Oki, make service for him?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Prof. Eddie, Pak Wahyono. Yeah, it's very interesting questions from Prof. Eddie. So indeed, for ASEAN, the energy security is a big problem because as we can see the outlook, the ASEAN countries should import energy in very high quantity in 2025 and then also 2040. So if we can have a very good network, Prof. Eddie mentioned about the natural gas network in ASEAN, it will be good in order to share the natural gas that we have in ASEAN into the energy mix. Because in ASEAN, we have gas reserve, which are located in Indonesia and Malaysia. So this basically can be utilized in a network which can be shared in ASEAN. And also this is in line with the work agenda to use natural gas as the energy transition. So basically this is a very good idea, not only for power, but also for industrial sector. So we are looking forward to see these things coming in order to have better gas supply and gas utilization in ASEAN countries. Of course, the progress depend on the leaders among the ASEAN nations. But from our part, from academia, from professional, I think we will get benefit from this connectivity in order to improve the security, energy security in ASEAN. Because we are going to get benefit from the pipelines. There will be also more regasification terminals, etc. Thank you, Prof. Edi.
Thank you very much, Dr. Oki.
Okay, I really sorry to Professor Edi. I believe you still have many questions in your bag, but time is very limited. You can go further in your room together with Pak Oki later on. So we move to, before to go to our expert like Mr. Turiba as expert in APC project, and also Ibu Ella, and also Pak Mer. I would like to ask or give the time, just 1 minute, to Mr. Ranabir Chodori. Ranabir Chodori is the expert of APC as well, from Babco, Bahrain. So, Mr. Ranabir, could you please speak up? This is time for you.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. I hope everybody can hear me.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Your voice is very clear, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah. Just thanks to Wahyono-san for giving us some opportunity to speak along with this esteemed panelist, and almost thanks to Dr. Safaa, Dr. Oki, and other things, and other Dr. Edi and
Safaa, yeah,
for their presentation. Very informative and in our industry. As for Babco, well, most of you all might be aware that now our refinery, which is currently having a crude output of almost 267,000 barrels per day, is now will be enhanced to almost like 280,000 barrels per day. We have embarked on a big project, which is the largest in the 90-year history of Babco. So it's almost like a $4.2 billion expansion project, which is known as Babco Modernization Program. And what specifically I could say that it will be enhancing a lot of our margins, or crude processing margins, by almost like 42%, and a lot of smart energy systems and processes I believe are being implemented. In this regard, and as Dr. Oki rightly said, that we have our different derivatives and other things, like we have naphtha, we have asphalt, we have lighter crudes, gasoline. And it's what's quite interesting that the perspective that he has shared regarding this petrochemical industry, which is of which needs a lot of thought, which needs a lot of thought to be looked into. I don't have our marketing colleague along with us who would have provided more insight into whatever and the numbers that we would be interested in, because my basic background is more of civil and structural that I'm into, and this is like new process and things like that. So hopefully I'm enjoying, and it's very informative, the entire presentations and of the richness of experience of all the panelists that we have here. It's good to share the experience on this platform. That's what I would like to say and share. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Rana Bisang, as a senior engineer in Babco. For information, Dr. Saud, his company, Babco, has trouble recently because damage of the data, the company data, hacking by somebody. So this is a good opportunities. Rana Bisang can engage with Dr. Safaa for further solution in their company.
Yeah, or most
Now, now, now we have to move to Pak Turiba. Pak Turiba is the expert in EPC project. Almost 33 years working for the gas and oil. He worked for LNG Badak and also Papua, and also he involved in together with MW Kellogg in Houston. So, Pak Turiba, could you please respond to Dr. Safaa and Dr. Oki? By the way, Dr. Oki is junior of Dr. Turiba. So please, Pak Turiba, give your statements.
Okay, thank you, Pak Wahyono. How about my sound?
Yeah, okay. Your sound is good. Okay.
Okay. I think I just comment some our opinion related to the presentation of Mr. Dr. Oki. I think first is just criticize the topic. Yeah, I think the petrochemical industry is not for the energy security. I think, yeah, but the petrochemical industry is actually slightly advanced of the fuel industry. So many experts said that actually petrochemical industry is key of the overall industry, because in the petrochemical industry we have many added values, and in case of Indonesia, our national country, I think slightly led to develop the petrochemical industry. So I think I agree with Mr. Dr. Oki, Professor Oki. I think that we have to move on to develop the petrochemical industry in Indonesia because many value. If the oil and gas industry only focus on the fuels industry, I think this is not so good, especially for the current situation, which is the very low price of the fuel. Yeah, I heard the Prelude already closed because of the low price of the LNG. So petrochemical industry should be one of the choice to field. Okay, and then secondly, I think the integrated refinery and chemical plants, this is, I think, the choice in the future, because based on the current requirement of the fuel, which is in the non-OECD countries still high, but in the future, I think in the near future, we have to move to the chemical industry. So integrated refinery and chemical industry is one of the best choice, I think. I think we have to sound to the government, to the our national oil company, that currently they develop they call the mega project. Yeah, they call some mega project will be developed. I think this is the time we have to sound to them. I think we have to develop the integrated refinery and chemical industry, not only the fuel refinery fuel, yeah, refinery for the fuels, and then however, Indonesia, we have I think we have challenge for the limited feedstock. We have challenge to the limited feedstock. Our oil, our gas, also I think currently not so much. We have not so much the oil and gas. So this is feedstock of the petrochemical industry. I think we how we can use the other resource such as coal, yeah, coal, which is the one of our resource. So I think maybe Mr. Oki can what is our current progress for the technology or proven industry from coal to the petrochemical?
Yeah, thank you very much, Pak Turiba, for the very sharp opinion and very sharp criticism. However, I think Mr. Oki will answer his about Mr. Turiba response. And I think Indonesia and Saudi is much different, the policy of the energy. I believe in Saudi now is the second step after oil, not a good situation. They move to Jazan and Sabik for the petrochemical. But this is just my opinion from a long time living in Saudi Arabia. I believe Mr. Oki has another good solution for this issue. Mr. Oki, the time for you.
Thank you, Pak Wahyono and Pak Turiba. Yeah, this is very good remark from Pak Turiba that indeed the petrochemicals is offering added value and we are still less developed. And this Indonesia imported a lot of petrochemicals every year. So it's good to have more projects in petrochemicals. Now the question is which feedstock we are going to utilize. There are two feedstock that we have. Nowadays, the SK gas is having more gas than liquid, than crude oil. So we can shape, we can target some of the strategic natural gas in Indonesia to be utilized as a feedstock for petrochemicals. Indeed, we cannot get the field which is rich in C2, for instance, or C3, because I checked with my colleague also that basically the best one is C3. If we have propane, and then we can get a lot of profit. But C3 is not available, and then C2 is also not available. Most of the natural gas that we have is C1. For instance, the Abadi field, the Masela, it's 81% of C1. So basically, we can utilize the C1 methane to syngas first, and then we derive the syngas to petrochemicals. For the coal, for the time being, I think we have two announced projects from Pertamina and PTBA for coal to chemicals, and also one project announced from Bakri. I think all of them, because nowadays air products are having the less license, so from Shell and also from GE. So basically, we can collaborate with air products, but of course, we need to develop our manpower and also, as a nation, our own research capability, because with the time, here and there, we need to optimize the technology for coal to chemicals. I think that's the answer from my side, Pak Wahyono.
Thank you, Professor Oki.
Okay, thank you.
Very valid data from your side. And then I believe Pak Turiba and Pak Oki can sit together outside this webinar. And now we also asked to Dr. Safaa. Dr. Safaa, could you please allow us to have your presentation and publish to our attendants?
Yeah, sure. There's no issue on that. I have no
Okay,
problem.
good, very good.
Okay,
Thank
sure.
you.
Okay.
And then I would like to welcome to Pak Sudaryono. He's very senior in oil and gas EPC project. And also Mr. Panuturi. He's also very senior in construction EPC project. Both of them is coming from IKPT. Also, Mr. Turiba also came from IKPT. We are schooling by IKPT, and after Clever, we move to others. and then I would like to ask, say, different perspective. Means that we will go to Mr. Sangsan. Mr. Sangsan is a civil engineer, very senior, say principal civil engineer. He worked for the infrastructure of the APC project of oil and gas. So Mr. Sangsang will have a different view from both of you, Pak Dr. Oki and Dr. Safaa. Mr. Sangsang, the time for you.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for inviting me in this esteemed gathering as a panelist. I would like to build upon what Dr. Turiba said. The future of oil is in chemicals and petrochemicals and not fuel. With the advent of electric vehicles and more thrust on cleaner energy, I'm sure by 2030, demand for gasoline and other fuels will be on decline. But the petrochemical sector will still have room to grow. So a very important term Dr. Oki used in his presentation was oil to chemical strategy. So basically, oil to chemical strategy is to eliminate most of the fuels in favor of high value petrochemicals and chemicals and specialty chemical products. This is a future ready strategy for most of the refiners because the future demand is reducing because of the advent of electrical vehicles. Traditionally, refineries are using 10 to 15% of their crude to manufacture petrochemical products. But this situation will fast change. The target will be around 70 to 75% conversion of their crude refined for competitive building blocks of petrochemical and specialty chemicals. I will give you an example. In India, the refining capacity is now in excess of fuel demand. So the refinery margins are reducing day by day. So by adopting this flexible operation of the refinery as a petrochemical complex, the operating flexibility to convert a refinery into a petrochemical complex will preserve the refiners' margins. They're maximizing their asset utilization and also give a sustainable and competitive cost of the petrochemicals and chemicals. Initially, what can be done is we can remove the products which are priced below the crude, and this can be eliminated by diverting that crude to manufacture petrochemical and chemicals. Second thing is integrated, as Dr. Turiba said, integrated refinery and petrochemical complex is the need of the hour. This will maximize the yields of petrochemical from every barrel of the crude produced. This can lead to a significant cost savings through economics of scale and increase and improve competitiveness of companies taking such projects. As I say, the future will largely be about tearing the old walls between refining and chemicals. Lastly, I have a slight question for Dr. Oki, that as the world is moving more towards access to clean and affordable energy, and this must be met as it is a prerequisite for ensuring the quality of the life of our people. See, the first three industrial revolutions were based on fossil fuels, but I'm sure the fourth industrial revolution has now the opportunity to repair and restore the carbon cycle. So one of the most notorious thing is the carbon monoxide. So my question to Dr. Oki is, what are the latest researches to tap the carbon monoxide emissions and use it as a feedstock or the fuel, or convert it into the cleaner fuel for the future?
Just all from your side. Okay. Before moving to further, I would like to introduce Mr. Sangsang. He is a senior engineer from Reliance Industry. This is a profile of Dr. Sangsang, Mr. Sangsang. He is working for Reliance Industry Limited in Mumbai, the big company in India, very fast growing up, and then now become like a giant. So I would like to share as well a little bit about the success story of the Reliance Industry.
We have never wavered from your principles. The Reliance family has become larger, happier, more prosperous, and more hopeful about the future. This is the largest from rupees 10 crores in 1977 to around rupees 5 lakh crores today, a growth of 32% each year for 40 continuous years, which is a
liberation process removes all barriers for your company to be a leader in every sector of its operation, not only in India but in the region and the global marketplace.
Okay, just it for the sharing the success story of Reliance Industry. So we have to go to Dr. Turiba. Could you please answer query from Mr. Sangsang?
I think what I understand is Mr. Sangsang agree with me that the integrated refinery and petrochemical industry will be the future. The future of the refinery. So I'm talking about the for the new project, especially in Indonesia. There's some mega project developed by our national oil company. I think it's better to sound to the government, to the national oil company, that they should develop the integrated oil and petrochemical complex. I think what the Mr. Oki proposed. So I think this is what I understand from Mr. Sangsang. But I think the problem is how, for example, how convert some currently the refinery is designed as the fuel refinery. So I think this is I'm not sure how to convert such refinery to cover the integrated fuel and petrochemical complex. I think this is not easy to convert. I think this is I think just my understanding like this, Pak Wahyono. Maybe
okay,
Prof can add some explanation.
Okay, I think Dr. Oki, you have to answer both of them, Sangsang and Mr. Turiba. I believe this is your area to answer it. Mr. Oki.
Yeah, thank you so much, Pak Wahyono, Mr. Sangsang, and Pak Turiba. So I think from Mr. Sangsang, the question is about the CO2 utilization. So Mr. Sangsang agreed that the oil to chemicals is important, and like mentioned by Mr. Turiba, the integrated refinery and petrochemicals is very important. Mr. Sangsang is asking about the technology status of CO2 to chemicals. This is very hot topics because nowadays we are discussing about the climate change, etc. So in terms of technology, most of the technology readiness level, TRL of CO2 to chemicals is still low, between TRL 2, 3, and 4. But we have one technology which is basically being developed, and also currently some companies are also start to announce this, is basically CO2 to methanol. So I think in Saudi Arabia also we heard that it is announced the commercial application of CO2 in the production of methanol. And other than that, mostly they are still in early stage of technology development. So the answer is CO2 to methanol. Yes. I think this is the answer to Mr. Sansan question. From Mr. Turiba, any other questions, Pak Wahyono?
Sorry, Mr. Wahyono, I think you are muted.
Okay, we will not entertain one person make many questions. Okay, if you want to discuss directly to Mr. Turiba, please make another room. And then we will move to your senior in ITB, Ibu Ella. Ibu Ella will give you the very hot opinion, I believe, because practitioner. He's a project manager in IKPT, and so many experience with her. Ibu Ella, the time for you.
Okay, thank you, Pak Wahyono. Actually, my question already grabbed by Pak Turiba. But I interest with gas to petrochemical because as you know, in Indonesia the gas business is in SKK is spread between upstream and downstream. That's why the upstream company is Shell gas as it is and need like subsidies from government. Right now the gas, most of the gas is for like the power or the fertilizer. Maybe in the future the gas can be developed to petrochemical with more added value. How Oki to convince the government that not the gas to fertilizer or the power, but should be developed to petrochemical. That's my asking to you. And the others is I interest to regarding CO2 utilization, because we know that one of our resources of gas in Natuna is, has a huge CO2, and in my some project there are gas resources, but the CO2 content is huge, 60% or 70%. Even the capacity of the gas is not much, but I think for the oil companies that's important. That's all, Pak Oki. My question to you.
Thank you very much, Ibu Ella. Dr. Oki, you want to answer her, or you want to keep in your mind and bring it to Saudi Arabia?
Thank you so much, Pak Wahyono and Bu Ella. Yes, so basically the conversion of in addition to oil, which is going down every year, basically we really need to push the investment for natural gas and coal. So the natural gas, so we need to motivate our nations not to consider the projects to convert natural gas resources into LNG anymore, because at this time the competition is very tough. So we are having oversupply of LNG, and instead of thinking about how to export the natural gas in the form of LNG, we need to think how can we utilize the natural gas resources, Masela or Natuna in the future for petrochemicals. In addition to that, if we see the RUEN, the Rencana Umum Energi Nasional, the planning for energy from our government, we can see that basically if we allow the business as usual, the nation will be in danger, because in 2025 we will import a lot of crude and gasoline, and also in 2040 we will be very much dependent on the import. So this is very difficult for our nations, of course, at that time to control the cash flow, the APBN. So it is important for us to also to put incentive for the coal to chemicals. As we seen that the basically the petrochemicals business, we need a good portion of cost related to raw materials. So basically, basically we can see that for natural gas and coal, basically we need to have a reasonable price in such a way that the project to downstream will be executed. So in the same strategy with the current oil industry, I think the option is basically to convince the government that the government tax or the income from the oil business will be less for the government. So the government, we can see the oil business as a place where we have job creation and reducing the import. Similarly, for the new project for natural gas to chemicals or coal to chemicals, we need to convince the government that we need to have incentive in such a way that the project will be economic. So the part for the government will be less. This will be, of course, difficult because our country is also still searching for the funding for our cash flow, APBN. But of course, we are looking for the multiplier effect of the petrochemical business. We will employ more people. We create the new economic centers, and then also we will reduce the import. So instead of spending a lot of dollars to buy chemicals from abroad, it's better to have the business in the country, in which that we have job creations, in which that we have multiplier effect.
Mohamad, I would like to, one of the question of Dr. Turiba remains unanswered. So I would like to give, the question was, how to have a integrated refinery come petrochemical complex. I would like to tell that, give some examples. Like there are already some, R&Ds going on in turning refinery equipments into chemical manufacturing machinery, and also a lot of process R&D are also going on to, have a operational flexibility in refinery operation to, maximize the yield of petrochemicals. I will give us some examples. Recently, we have Reliance has the world's largest grassroots refinery in Jamnagar. It's around 36 MMTPA refinery. And we have recently commissioned world's largest refinery off-gas cracker complex at the same location, which is 1.5 million ton per annum capacity of ROGC cracker. And we are converting, refinery off-gas into ethylene, and then further, manufacturing MEG, very useful products like MEG, LDPE, and LLDP. Further to that, I would also give you an example that we have now commissioned world's largest petcoke gasification project in Jamnagar, and where we are, we are converting the refinery residue of coke into synthetic gas, so thereby converting this refinery into a bottomless refinery. So these are, I thought that I would give some examples how to have this integrated petrochemical complex with the refinery. And at the same time, it's a responsibility of universities like you and more research organization to bring out more new processes, to encourage industry to step into this field.
That's all. Okay, thank you, Mr. Sangsang. This is say information to Mr. Oki. I think you can discuss further with Dr. Oki regarding your projects, etc., etc. Now we move to Dr. Meilia. He is an expert from Wijaya Karya, long time working with Wijaya Karya, for Wijaya Karya. He's just recently proceeding the doctor program and almost complete his doctor. He is also not alone. Many people from Wijaya Karya also join in this room. So welcome to everyone from Wijaya Karya, the big state company in Indonesia. And then I would like to ask Dr. Meilia the time for you to respond to Mr. Turiba and Mr. Oki.
Okay, thank you very much for your kind time for me to respond now. I would like to respond Pak Oki presentation regarding petrochemical strategic and the future. I think all the people in Indonesia already well known about the issues that between separate organized for the oil and gas and petrochemical Indonesia. Separate petrochemical organized by Pupuk Holding Indonesia in government, yeah. But oil and gas organized by Pertamina. It's so different because the other country like Malaysia, petrochemical and oil and gas organized in one on-state company like Petronas. Petronas have some refineries and fertilizer plant as well. I think for the response Mr. Oki topic issue, I would like to ask 5 questions to Mr. Professor Dr. Oki. The first one is, what do you think of the raw material reserve from petrochemical in Indonesia? And the second, what about the response of on-state company Petrochemical Indonesia in seeing this future opportunity? And third, what about the response of government of Indonesia in encouraging relevant ministries for the future opportunities? And fourth, what chemical derivatives do you think have the most raw material in Indonesia? And the last, which party is more dominant in developing the petrochemical industry in Indonesia? Thank you very much for all kind attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Meilia, for your 5 questions. Dr. Oki, this is a bit political issue, but you are in the expert I believe you also have a contribution to the government how to solve this issue. Please, Dr. Oki.
Yeah, thank you so much, Pak Meilia and Pak Wahyono. Yeah, this is a very challenging question. So I will try to answer with my capacity. So the first one is about the raw material reserve. Yeah, indeed, this is the biggest questions. Indonesia, we do not have the C3 propane in large quantity, so we cannot execute projects without import. Yeah, the like propane dehydrogenation, etc. So if we want to have propane dehydrogenation, we need to import the propane from abroad. And then but we have C1, we have methane in large quantity, like the one in Masela, it's 81% of C1 or methane. So we can derive from C1 methane to syngas to methanol, etc. And also, of course, we have coal, especially the young coal, yeah. Because the thermal coal, of course, it's having very good market for the power generation. So far, the BUMN Petrochemicals, which is handling the petrochemical issue, to the best of my knowledge, is Pertamina. Pertamina is now going to petrochemicals with the acquisition of Tuban petrochemical industry. In addition to that, Pertamina is also planning to have mega project in Balongan together with ADNOC for petrochemicals. It was already announced by Pertamina. And then in addition to that, Pertamina also having collaboration with PTBA, the owner of the coal, the young coal in Sumatra. The Pertamina and PTBA announced 2 projects for coal to chemicals. For the third questions, we are expecting to have the very good support, of course, because this is not only one ministry, but it's involving several ministries. We hope that there will be good synergistic effort from Ministry of Energy and Minerals, and also the Industrial Ministry, and also the state-owned companies ministry, BUMN ministry. So far, from our interactions, we observe very good response from the Ministry of BUMN. And then the chemicals that we have, basically they are flexible. So basically we can derive the both natural gas and coal to different type of olefins. So if we have C1, methane to syngas to methanol to olefins. That's the established route. And then which party is more dominant in developing petrochemical industry in Indonesia? So far as we can see that we have Chandra Asri, which is private, and also to some extent Pertamina is also having some petrochemicals, and in the future, and also with the integration of TPPI and Tuban Petro to Pertamina, and then the announced project with PTBA, we hope that Pertamina will be involved deeper to petrochemical business. And of course, we expect to have more involvements from the private sector, like Bakri, which recently announced their project in East Kalimantan. I think that's the my best efforts to answer some questions from very nice questions from Pak Meilia. Thank you, Pak Wahyono.
Okay, Dr. Aki, you finished the answering? Okay. Okay, everyone. Sorry for takes long time our discussion. Now I would like to ask to everyone attending this webinar. Since the time is very limited, so I would like to ask to you 3 questions only, and then after that we complete our agenda. But before that, I would like to share to you regarding KFUPM. KFUPM. Please be patient for that. Everyone can see this video? Rana Bisang, you can see this video?
Yet, Pak, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
If so,
Only
you can see it?
Yes, yes. Now it's visible.
Yes, now we can see.
Okay, I think we can answer why Dr. Oki still happy living in Saudi Arabia, because the facility in KFUPM is very, very good, and also you can see that the campus, the buildings, not disturb the nature of the rock and the nature of the sand. The color also using the same color with the nature. Okay, this is just information regarding the KFUPM. Now we ask to Mr. Hadi, please guide us to manage 3 questions from our audience.
Okay, Mr. Wahyono. Okay, I think our time is limited, so we just can open for 3 questions. So we have already 1 question from Mr. Zainuddin. She asking to Dr. Safaa, Mr. Wahyono.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for
Dr. Safaa,
everyone
you can
who
read
have
it,
a question, just type in the chat section, or you can raise your hand so the operator can unmute you and you can speak up.
Dr. Safaa, you can respond by yourself? Or?
Yeah, sure. What's the questions?
In the chat. In the chat.
Okay. It's already been written. Okay. It's a very long indeed questions. All right. So if I go through, okay. Do you have any opinion? Oh, all right. So he's asking about regarding to the machine learning. Okay, machine learning, of course, it's a kind of programming that we are using. So it's a part of IoT indeed. But is it any possibility to be petrochemical industries? What I mean is the production process. Oh, okay. So I think his question is dragging here and there. He's asking about the quality, and he's talking about the machine learning. So they are quietly upside, like 180 degree different from each other. Can Mr. Zainuddin, can you elaborate his question, please, Mr. Mohamad?
Okay. Mr. Jainuddin, could you please speak up and explain in brief your question?
Martin. Okay. I'm sorry regarding because my video. I think my video wouldn't be that good because my internet also here a bit
No
bad.
problem, please.
But my question is here. As we know that in the petrochemical industry, most of the quality of output product is related all three dependent to their product parameters, like in production parameters such as temperature, pressure, and viscosity. So these three parameters is really critical to make a quality product with a high quality. And with such a complex process, with such a very complex process, we cannot anymore only relies with the classical estimation, like if this temperature we should if the temperature reach to this level, so we have to do this thing. What I mean is this machine learning is the reliable answer to this kind of question, this kind of challenge, since manual or classical estimation is not reliable, I think, anymore. Because the production is very huge and the data that we gather from the industry is really big, and I think some sort of pattern recognition perhaps necessary regarding this issue. Do you have any suggestion or maybe any opinion regarding this matter, Dr. Safaa?
All right. Thank you so much, Zainuddin. Indeed, it's very interesting questions for this. But just to brief you about, I'm not expert in machine learning. Machine learning indeed is a kind of software. It's algorithms. So it's mostly we are using currently machine learning by optimization only. So it's optimization the parameter that we've been achieved as an output from the sensor that we are getting. So it is based on my brief knowledge here about the machine learning is that we only just integrate the algorithm, but our main playing parameters is with the algorithm parameters, as we are indicating in the algorithms the variables, as just now you be mentioned, like a pressure, temperature, viscosity, is all going to be stated as a variable in the algorithm. So the algorithms is going to be embedded inside the machine learning to optimize for us. We call it a kind of mapping. So that mapping can be optimized for us what kinds of parameter that we've been achieved. If we are reaching more than the limit, of course, we'll be alerted. Lower than the limit, so the performance will be carried on properly. So machine learning, yes, can be, but machine learning can be used only for optimization.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Safaa. Is there any one to want to ask to Dr. Safaa, because it's very useful for us. The time is very important for us. ask? Is there any? If not, I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
It's okay for you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. As a contractor, I'm a lecturer, but I am also working for contractors.
Okay.
We facing with the, and especially I'm working for civil engineering.
Okay.
As you know that civil engineering so step of working. For example, we calculate the foundation, we calculate the MTO, we calculate the say structure, and suddenly client said, please change it to this requirement or another one. So we start again from the very say bottom of the working. Is there any say tools or suggestion from you that we can make automatic calculation, say like in Excel we have micro Excel, for example, just one click, whatever client want to say, we will say in 5 minutes I can answer the question. Can you elaborate for that?
Okay, indeed, that's a very important question. Can answer the same questions coming from Zaid just a few minutes ago. For your issues that we can implement the machine learning, because the machine learning actually we can embed it as an algorithm. Anything is working with algorithm or computer algorithm, which can be improved automatically through experience. Okay, why? Because also the machine learning can be used for you kind of mathematical model. So for you, Mr. Mohamad, as example, you are looking for a mathematical model. Any software can build up for you a mathematical model. I don't only elaborate on machine learning. No, we can use other software as well. We can use other software can build up. The most important is that build up for us a mathematical model, defining all the variables. So later, if you want you to change X or Y or Z, you have already the model. So with changing Z and Y and X, Y, Z, you can easily get your achievement or you can get your output through that model. But the most important is that you have to define your model based on your environmental condition. Hopefully you got my answer.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your advice. This is what I want the answer from you.
Sure.
And then we move to Mr. Eko. Mr. Eko, you are still here? Eko Wibowo?
Yes, Pak Wahyono, Eko speaking here.
Please speak up for your question.
Yeah, okay. To Dr. Safaa first, I have a question. As your presentation today, you highlighted about the application of IoT in this petrochemical industry as well as in the power perspective, power plant perspective. My question is, currently, how is the status of IoT application in the coal mining development as the alternative of energy resources instead of oil? So that is my question. Thank you for your answer later on. Thank you. Thank you, Pak Wahyono.
Mr. Safaa, please.
All right. So thank you so much, Mr. Okoya, for your questions. Indeed, actually, because it's the coal mining developments is also very important as a resources for us for energy. Indeed. So the IoT here to be measured and much more about the coal is that we are using the IoT for measuring the gas as are being received. So the gas is all based on the sensor. So I don't have a very specific because I did not implement so far any kind of application inside the coal development. So it's quite challenging for me right now to search and find how that development is. Very interesting question for me, indeed. But so far I know only the coal mining development is coming as a generating the result of generating the gas, and the gas can be measured and be can investigated using the sensor and can be recorded and can be alerted to the worker in that place or any kinds of mining sections already being developed. Rather than that, actually, I don't have any other specific answer for that field because I never been in that field so far.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you
noted
very much.
your answer. Thank you. Thank you,
Okay, most
Dr.
welcome, sure.
I would like to, okay, this is already complete the three question, but there is one more opportunities to our audience. Ibu Sylvia, do you want to ask something? Ibu Sylvia, are you still here?
No, I don't have any question. I think it's enough.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ibu Sylvia. Everyone. I think we now come to the end of the webinar. Sorry for the little bit delay for the finishing. But I believe this is useful for you all. We have many discussions in this time, and I believe the question and answer will not stop until this time. We may make another webinar to continue our discussion further. And then we would like to ask to you all if any specific discussion would like to present it in webinar, please contact our Mr. Hadi, because Mr. Hadi is the host of this project. He is the owner of the project. And then we will discuss further for the service of your order. Thank you very much, Mr. Hadi. And I would like to return back the time to you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wahyono. Okay, thank you, Mr. Wahyono. It is really insightful and inspiring discussion among all of experts today. I guess with the end of the discussion and closing by Mr. Wahyono, then we finish our webinar for today. Hopefully, with this webinar, it can bring new knowledge, new insights to all participants of the event. As our rector mentioned earlier, for those of you who don't know about our campus, we used to be STTG or ITKG previously, but to improve the quality of education in our campus, we form a campus into a university, became a Jakarta Global University. So if you want to know more about our campus, you can open up your social media apps, especially for Instagram. We have at JG_University, or you can visit our website on www.jgu.ac.id. On behalf of the organizing committee on our program today, I would like to say many thanks and apologize if there were still many shortcomings on the webinar process. And once again, we say thank you to all of speakers, Dr. Oki, Dr. Safaa, and all the panelists. I hope we can still manage another project in another opportunity. And once again, we want to say thank you to all participants who are willing to attend. I am Hadi Wijaya, and see you on another webinar. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
wabarakatuh.
Good day.
Absensinya, Mas, tolong.
Okay, for those who already waiting from the start of our online seminar, here we will share to you the barcode. You can see on the screen, actually, you can scan, or maybe you can type the link right there, the HTTPS, the JGU-seminar-attendance, or maybe you just can scan the barcode so that the barcode will link you to the form you need to fill up. Also, for those who watching from our YouTube, also please fill up the form to get the certificate. And only for those who fill up, who will get the certificate, okay? For those who already left, I'm so sorry that we won't give you any, or maybe already register. For those who don't fill up this form, I'm sorry, I have to say we cannot give it to you. We will give around 15 minutes to you. We will leave this room for 15 minutes to the link. I will also type the link to the
Chat.
Mr. Andre, can you please type the link on the chat session? Okay. Just wait from the chat session. My college will share to you the link. Yeah, okay. Mr. Hadi Wijaya has already shared the link, so you can click the link easier for you. Maybe if you cannot scan the barcode, you can click the link on the section and the chat section, so that it will link you to the attendance form. Okay, for those who already fill up the form, you may leave this room because this is the end of our online seminar. We will see you on another event. Just follow our Instagram at JG_University. We will update anything. We will update any event, any online seminar, any competition there, so that you guys can join us. Or maybe click our website at www.jgu.ac.id. Yes. If you have any question, maybe you can contact us via DM on Instagram, or maybe just there's also if someone interested to register to our campus, or maybe joining us for our student, please visit our website. There's also the registration link for anyone who want to register to our campus. For those who still asking, actually my friend, my partner is already shared the link. I will share it to you again on the chat section. Maybe because you left, I don't know, because you didn't see the link. I already shared to you on the chat section, and maybe you can scan the barcode on your screen, because my operator, my partner already shared to you the barcode.
JGU sebenarnya attendance.
Cuma kita harus punya mobil.
Also on the form, there's also a survey for you to fill up to get the certificate about the topic, about the PowerPoint, about the presentation. You can fill up so that, and then you can submit. We will email you the certificate as soon as possible. Okay, we will provide you another 5 minutes to fill up the form, and then we will end the session, and we will see you next time on another event. Saya nggak bisa absen, bagaimana caranya? For Mr. Iwan, I'm sorry. Saya udah share link di grup chat, bisa diklik itu atau juga bisa di share yang di screen, di scan yang di share screen. Oke, for those yang belum bisa, silahkan klik di link yang barusan saya kirim di chat section. Jadi kalau bapaknya udah buka chatnya, mungkin kelihatan chat saya sekarang, Revita Desertin di HTTPS itu. At the next webinar, I hope they are translated directly. Inshallah, maybe you can tell the suggestion on our survey. Thank you so much, Heri Irwanto.
Good afternoon, Sir Sukacha.
Yes, good afternoon. Is there anything we can help?
Hello, Revita. Hello.
Yes.
I would like to ask you about the next seminar. What is the topic, the next seminar?
Okay, about the next topic for the webinar, you need to follow our Instagram at jg_university. We will update you there. Since right now we only have the webinar for what we call it, the international experience exposure. The topic actually, but this one is our another webinar for next time is the topic called international exposure experience. You can check on our Instagram.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
But I would like to suggest you about the topic of the seminar. Maybe my friend will want to be guest speaker or keynote speaker about the next seminar. If you have the opportunity for the seminar, is it possible to give the keynote speaker from my friend?
Okay, for the information, thank you so much for your what we call it, your idea for the seminar. But for your information, for this month, the seminar is already full for the schedule. But maybe we can provide you the schedule for maybe next month. Maybe you can contact me from revita@itkj.ac.id.
Okay, okay, thank you.
You can contact me the details regarding what and anything. Thank you so
okay.
much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks, JGU. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Follow our Instagram. Okay, thank you so much for everyone who already joined. Since the time is already over, I'm sorry that we need to end the meeting for now. I will see you guys in next session, in next webinar for the new knowledge. Thank you so much for the speakers who may be still on the room. Thank you so much everyone who join and give some question, advices, also the what we call it, the appreciation. We will send to you the certificate so as soon as possible via email. So make sure when you when you fill up the form, you use your active email. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mas Henry, apa kabar?
Ya, Pak Cahyo, Assalamualaikum, Pak Haji. Sehat, Pak Haji.
Lama sekali nggak ketemu.
Iya, lama sekali nih, aduh.
Next webinar ya.
Iya, di Rekayasa, Pak, sekarang, Pak. Nggak di TKC lagi, Pak. Sehat ya, Pak?
Ya, nanti kita pakai webinar ya.
Iya, makasih banyak nih Pak Wahyono.
Pak Wahyono, halo. Assalamualaikum Pak Wahyono.
Waalaikumsalam. Terima kasih nih.
Saya tadi
jauh-jauh dari Padang.
Iya, iya.
Apa kabar Andalas?
Ya, kabar baik. Telat saya tadi. Maksudnya. Saya tadi ada acara juga.
Gimana sudah ini God page-nya?
Belum. Iya, masih kegiatan
gitu.
masih begini aja. Banyak
Salam ya buat your support.
Sukses caranya. Tadi saya cuma bertanya sedikit. Untuk apa namanya?
Boleh ditulis saja nanti kita respon.
Iya. Nah,
kan ada WA saya. Nanti
Iya. Gampang, ya. Terima kasih Pak. Terima kasih banyak. Oke, sip.
Salam ya buat teman-teman di Andalas.
Ya, sama-sama. Assalamualaikum.
Pak Wahyono, apa kabar?
Baik. Siapa ini ya?
Indri, Pak.
Bu Indri.
Apa kabar?
Ya, baik. Waduh, apa namanya? Terima kasih ya sudah hadir di webinarnya. Salam Mbak Tunusa.
Ya.
Ya kita aja ke Fauji di kontak lagi. Ya. Ya. Gitu. Ya. Ini aja kalau gitu.
Anda berani kita janji untuk cepat, tapi enggak. Atau tempat yang dikerja agak rumit tempatnya.
Masya Allah, Profesor Ammar, apa kabar?
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Sorry, nyimak ini.
Apa kabar di Tadulako?
Alhamdulillah.
Semua berjalan bagus ya?
Ya, alhamdulillah Pak.
Salam buat Dr. Arifin sama Dr. siapa satu itu?
Yang ikut saya lihat Pak Adnan tadi juga.
Adnan, ya.
Ya. Saya
Terima
ikut
kasih,
join.
Profesor.
Thank you, terima kasih. Sukses ini. Ya.
Amin.
Oke.
Nanti kita datang bareng lah dengan Tadulako ya.
Siap Pak, kita kerjasamakan. Oke.
Ya. Terima kasih Pak.
Thank you, makasih Prof. Ya, assalamualaikum. Ya.
Waalaikumsalam.